Let's go black and white. I mean, I think this shot is gonna look kind of crazy because I'm using a Panasonic GH5. I'm far away from the camera. I'm using a 35mm lens, so it's really a 70mm lens. So I can't really tell. It's crazy bright. I'm in the shade. I'm trying to use the sky as a key light. I don't know how this is gonna look, but that's okay, because I'm shooting in black and white. So obviously I'm using a picture profile. I'm not using V-Log, so my dynamic range isn't quite as flexible or as good or whatever. But I wanted to talk about something that is filmmaking related, is theater related, is story related, it's life related, it's everything related. And it's like, how do you deal with, telling a story and connecting with an audience? I think that's what I'm talking about here. I think the only way to do that is to rip your chest open and share your heart with your audience, just like you have to do in your life. Like, you can't have a relationship of any kind of value with anybody unless you share your heart, unless you take risks, unless you put yourself out there to actually be destroyed. That's the only way to do it. It's the same thing with a story. You have to go all the way. You can't go halfway. You can't go a quarter of the way. You can't tread lightly. You can't be careful. You have to be willing to get out there and really try and see what happens. And know that you can probably be killed. You could probably be right next to death if things don't work out the way you want them to. If the story doesn't make sense because you get lost in the emotions of everything, you get lost in the depth of the character study, of the journeys of the characters, you get lost in getting to really know who these people are. But see, the thing is, it doesn't really matter if you get lost in those cases, because when you allow an audience to know characters that deeply and that thoroughly, then they can't help but care about those characters. It's human nature. Like, when you allow somebody to know who you are, when you really put yourself out there, somebody's going to get to know you, and if they have even an ounce of empathy, they're going to care something about you. They're going to have something, there's going to be some stake in the matter. There's going to be something at stake. But of course, story structure has to be really strong. There has to be, like some kind of problem that needs to be solved, and there has to be something that a character absolutely has to attain in this story, that they have to get to a certain place. Otherwise, like I said, they might die. There has to be something that makes the whole thing worth it. Like, you don't put yourself out there for anybody or everybody. You put yourself out there when you think it's worth it, when there's a destination that's like something you've dreamed of your whole life. Something that you realize is where you want to be. Something that is worth it. And so you take a chance. You take a leap of faith. That's where the characters have to be in that kind of situation. They have to be going somewhere, and it has to be almost reckless. It has to be crazy. The audience has to be like, whoa, what the hell are they doing? Like, why are you doing this? But the thing is, the character understands that they have no choice in the matter, that they're going forward. They are endeavoring upon this journey because they have no choice. They have to go. Their life means nothing unless they go, unless they try. And then if they don't make it, their life is still worth so much more because they gave it a shot. They tried. They tried to figure it out. So, I mean, to me, story is just like life, Like, what's your life worth if you don't try, if you don't take a chance, if you're, careful all the time, if you're calculated with everything, if you're, like analyzing everything until it's just dead of any kind of energy, like you've sucked the life out of something until you've gone over it and over it and over it in your head, and then there's nothing left. Like, you just got to go and and have some kind of trust. That's what a beautiful story is. And then, no matter how it ends, it's beautiful. So, that's what I'm hoping for in this film. That's what I'm hoping for in my life all the time. I've taken so many risks, I've taken so many chances, so many because I'm willing. Most people are afraid. I'm willing. And in my stories, I'm willing to fail. I'm willing to write a fucked up story, a story that doesn't make any sense to most people. A story where people go, that's insane, that could never be true. But I know it's true because that's the way I live my life. I don't care. I don't care what's going to happen on the other side. When I'm in the middle of something, when I'm in the middle of trying, I don't care what could possibly happen. I don't give a shit. I'm not even thinking about that. And then, if you land on a sword and it pierces you and cuts a hole right through your chest, you just take the time to pull it out really slowly so that you don't bleed to death during the process, and you heal over time. And the story, you know, like you take the audience to a place where they just think, this is impossible, it's ridiculous, like nothing's ever going to happen. This is the dumbest thing, this should never have started. This is, all the signs were against success. You know, there was no way this was going to happen. And then something turns because of belief, because of, you know, complete and utter commitment, because of love. That's what it's all about. And so a story has to be about love, necessity, something that makes your life transformed, something that changes you forever, something that makes you better, something that takes you to a place that challenges you, that you have no choice but to grow and evolve. That's what story is. Story has to grow, it has to evolve. Characters can't stay the same from the beginning of a story to the end of the story. They have to change. If they don't change, it's not a story, it's not real. People change. Sometimes people change for the worse. But you know, life is about changing for the worse sometimes, making mistakes, fucking up, and then fixing it and learning from it and growing and becoming better and then never doing that again. Story is the same thing. Just when you think this character is a complete asshole, a total fuck up, they've made so many mistakes, they've done everything wrong, something kicks in, they learn, they take it in, and they are transformed. And the funny thing is that sometimes when they're transformed, the place that they wanted to get to, it's too late. They've passed it already. It's gone. That moment is gone, but in fact, that moment is what got them to this place. That moment is what grew them. That moment is what was the evolution. And so that's the melancholic part of a story, that sometimes it's like, wow, if you were only here back then, everything would have been perfect. But life doesn't always work that way. It's not always a happy ending, but it is kind of a happy ending because now the person is armed for the next place, the next person, the next situation. You know, story, life, it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. You know, you just have to get out there and try. You just have to write. You just have to start. You just have to do it. You have to fail over and over again. But then you have to get up and try again. And also sometimes you can step back and you never know, because maybe things have elevated with you. Maybe things have grown with you. But usually it's not like that in life. But the whole point is, it's all about change, it's all about elevation, and it's all about growth. And now I've said all of that about 12 times, so I'm going to stop this video right now.